Okay, welcome to part two of Learn Programming with EasyLang. I've decided to change the title. The last title was like Let's Learn Easy Language or something like that. But I decided to go with more of an introductory to programming, computer programming kind of flow and style, just using my language as the source material, I guess. So I am the creator of the Easy Programming Language, Marshall Burns. You can find me on Twitter at SuperMarshall64 if you have questions or want to connect with me or whatever. This one's going to be really short. We're not going to be looking at really any code. We're just going to talk about some things. So we're going to talk about easy data types in the easy programming language. So we're going to answer the question, what data types does easy support? Just naturally. And then we're going to talk about user-defined types. Easy allows you to create your own types like other languages do. Okay, so we're going to look at this file here. So we have primitives, primitive data types in Easy, and we have some other ones we'll look at. So let's start with the primitives. Easy allows you to use a byte type, right? A byte can hold a value of 0 to 255, okay? A byte can hold 0 to 255. We have char, right? Char just is a single character. That single character is encapsulated or contained within single quotes, like you see right to the right of it here. We have string values. Okay, a string it can be a number, it can be a character, it can be whatever, so long as it is encapsulated in double quotes. Okay. We have raw strings. Raw strings are similar to strings, but they're a little bit more fancy. They can expand lines and all this stuff, and they're encapsulated in backticks. Okay. Generally, you'll probably just get away with using regular strings, but raw strings can be pretty helpful. We have int. Int is just numbers, whole numbers, right? But int specifically can hold negative or positive whole numbers. Unlike bytes, where a byte has a fixed range of 0 to 255, int doesn't really have a range or a limit. It can be anything, any negative or positive number. But the CPU, your computer CPU architecture can limit that. So that's just based on your computer pretty much. Or if I choose to make the language have a set limit for it, which I'm currently not. Uint, okay, is kind of similar to int, but this can only hold positive whole numbers, right? Same thing. The CPU pretty much sets the limit on that. Okay. Floats can be negative or positive decimal numbers. If it's got a decimal in it, it can be a negative or a positive. The range is similar to int or uint. The CPU sets that limit, so long as there's a decimal there. And then we have bool or boolean. All right. Those can only hold true or false values. That can only hold a true or false value. So we talked about int and uint, right? And the rest of our primitives here. And we talked about how int is negative or positive whole numbers and whatnot. It doesn't really have a limit. Same with uint, but uint is for positive numbers, whole numbers only. No real limit. Well, we have sized integers here. Sized integers are pretty much a fixed size. We want to store a value in this data type or something that has this data type. It can only be, it has a specific range, right? So we have, you see here, I8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and 256. These are signed integers, right? We have a signed 8-bit integer that can hold a value of negative 128 all the way up to positive 127. The same with a signed 16-bit, signed 32-bit, signed 64-bit, signed, etc. Okay, they have a specific range that they can hold. Then we have unsigned 8-bit integers. Similar to byte, the unsigned 8-bit integer can hold 0 to 255. An unsigned 16-bit integer can hold 0 to 65,535, and so on. In most cases, people can get away with just using int or uint, but there may be times where you need specific constraints on data that you want to have or values that you want to hold, right? So you might use a sized integer. We have signed and unsigned. Altogether, they are sized integers. Okay. Then we have collections. In Easy, we only have arrays. Arrays are essentially just lists of a specific type. So you can have an array of bytes or an array of chars, an array of strings, and so on, all of those. It's just a list of. That means if I want to have an array of integers, I can just have 1, 2, 3, 4 and store that in that array. Okay. Arrays can be dynamic or they can be fixed and easy. So dynamic arrays can grow or shrink. Right. At some point, maybe I have an array that has the values of 1, 2, and 3. Well, it's dynamic. At some point, maybe I want to add 4, 5, and 6 in there. Or I want to take 3 and 2 out and just keep it with 1. It's still an array. Fixed size arrays they just can't change. They have a fixed size. They cannot change. Nothing about them can change. They are constant. Okay. Then we have maps. Maps are key value pairs. Essentially, you can have two data types within here. So let's say you want to have a string, and let's say that holds a value of Marshall, and then that's the key, and then the value can be my age. Let's say it's 30. Okay, that's a type of integer. So they're just key value pairs. That's something people, if you're new to programming, you'll get very familiar with key value pairs. And then we have user-defined types. User-defined types in Easy are a little bit more complicated to go over, but you can create your own types using the struct or enum keyword. I'll show those in another video when it comes time. And you can do things with those types, and it's pretty cool to create your own types. But these are the supported Easy types or supported data types in the Easy programming language. And in the next video, we'll go over creating some variables using some of these types. Thanks. Peace.